You know, moving here instead of continuing on in our work. He wasn't completely convinced, but sure, he'd go with it. Well, yeah, it will be hard to find you here. I'm sure we'll be okay. Chunk. The final throw, the pearl dagger, and it hit right in the middle of the bullseye. Show off. Charlotte chuckled her low laugh as she slowly sauntered to the tree. She started to methodically dislodge the knives, her petal-pink feminine dress in complete juxtaposition to her knife-throwing talent. She took a deep breath, and he watched her shoulders rise and then settle as she turned to him with a contemplative look on her beautiful face. You feel pretty certain the network might continue on? She asked. I just think that Rex would go to great lengths to have his legacy continue beyond the grave. The bastard loved toying with everyone. The ultimate game would be to have it go on, even when he didn't. She put her hand on her hip and nodded slowly. Yes, you may be right. She put her hand on the ebony handle of the dagger, its mother-of-pearl scrollwork glistening in the sunshine. She pulled hard on the handle, dislodging it from its perfect landing place. Something made her shiver despite the warmth of the day. Charlotte walked toward him, weighing the satisfying handle in her hand, feeling its worth, weighing its metal. She nodded, having come to some sort of decision. Kirkland? She nodded curtly to the dagger. She deftly threw it with a light hand and a good arc, so we could catch it easily, as they'd practiced 100 times. Here, you're gonna need this. She turned smartly around and walked into the house. Chapter 1. Who knew pinball machines could set off such an explosive development? Lane, I've got a lead for us, said Rourke. Rourke Channing was a top-notch investigative reporter, and he also happened to be my sleuthing partner. When possible threats, or the odd piece of curious information, came through the grapevine at work, New York City's 1937 mayoral offices, Rourke and I would investigate. He continued after a quick sip of his espresso. I think that given the nature of the rumblings on the street, we need to follow up on it. He sat across from me in a little French cafe off York Avenue. Rourke wore his signature wide pinstripe suit with his crisp white shirt, wide red tie, and fedora with a matching red ribbon. I grasped a cup of cappuccino in my cold hands as I soaked in the warmth of a glowing fireplace. The cafe was a little slice of Europe, with the kind of casual elegance that only the French seem to achieve effortlessly. A little ripple of joy went through me as I breathed in the scent of coffee and cream. I agree, if only for the fact that those gangs are notorious for following through in their threats, I said. Exactly. When Fiorello got rid of thousands of those slot machines from the delis, he also targeted the pinball machines. They fell through the cracks at first, but now he's set his sights on them to finish the purge. And as we've already seen, that makes Fio a target. Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia, New York's 99th mayor, was my boss and dear family friend. The little dynamo was fearless against the criminal gangs that had taken shape during Prohibition. When Fio took office just after Prohibition ended, he went to work, ousting corruption, bringing healthcare and low-income housing to a desperate city, a whole fleet of public pools and parks, the first public arts high school, all accomplished with the panache and joie de vivre of the finest ringmaster. I set my cup down and rested my chin in my hand. So, to sum it up, you and our sources at the NYPD have intercepted increased agitation against the mayor. What about Uncle Louis Vanetti? He hasn't been as active on that scene,